Okay, so frequently you have two objects that you need to combine. First thing you do is you make sure you have a hole there and you have border edges and not a solid piece of geometry. Okay, and so we can toss a wireframe on shaded for the view here. And if I go to display, display, polygons, and show border edges, now it should show up slightly darker. He says with a fair amount of optimism. And border edges. There we go. Okay, so now that's showing up as a darker edge there where the border edge is. And so, yeah, anyhow, so that's the border edge. So to combine these two, we got several problems. The first of which is they're two pieces of geometry. So I have to do a combine. So let's see. Under Mesh, Combine. So you have a Separate, which would separate them out again. An Extract is for pulling faces off of a already built model. So the Separate will undo the Combine to a point. Okay, so now I've combined, yeah, they're now one piece of geometry, and so now I can start sewing these guys together. And the problem is I have a different number of edges here, which means I have to make some choices. So I can use the Split Edges tool and just with some difficulty here, and down, and good. And so I can make a cut there, and so now I have two edges to do my combination to, and I'll just go up to the Merge Edges tool. So that's going to be under Edit Mesh, Merge Edges tool. It's the one I like to use. Okay, and I'll click on the first border edge, he says optimistically, and the second, and so now it's merged those together. So as you see, it can be a little problematic. Interesting. How I ended up with a guy like that, I am not... Oh, that was the first one that I didn't think had drawn. Okay. So it was seeing two edges there, and I was seeing one. And that's why this is tricky, and why, it's, I felt I needed to do a separate video on this. Okay, so... that ain't gonna work. Z and click and down, and I can remove and clean that up later. Okay, it used to be easier in the last version of Maya. So, if you want these guys to come up, then you can snap those up to where they need to go. All right, so that's just using V-snap on the keyboard. So I select using V. I select the vertex, I then snap it using V, and now those guys are aligned, and so I'm slowly aligning the lower object to the shape of the upper object, and then I still have to go through and merge these edges. You see that dark line of the border edge there, there's still a gap, and so I'm just clicking 3 times there to divide that up. It's just doing what I have been doing, just a little bit quicker or more efficiently. So if I click here and then draw down to there, so now I have the right number of lines there. And so it's just click once to click this edge, click a second time to click that edge, click a third time to confirm it. So when you saw me clicking 3 times, that's really what I was doing. Okay? Now the other option you have, of course, is you can select this edge out here and then delete out that poly. And so now I can just snap that down and I have one edge there. And then I could redraw that in after doing the merge edges. Okay, so that's your other option. So you need an equal number of edges all the way around. So you can either delete out edges, that gives me an n-gong, okay, a five-sided poly that I have to kill off, by dividing this way or dividing that way. Now over here is the tricky thing, is you don't want to use that strategy I just had on this last guy, because if I pull this guy out and delete, I still get a border edge here, okay? And that's a technical problem, okay? The computers hate that, okay? Because there's technically a hole here, because even though this guy's merged and that guy's merged, this guy is still classified as a border edge. And so when I'm checking your files for the grading, that's one of the things I'm going to be looking for, is those hidden guys in there, because they cause massive problems. So if you can start policing that yourself, you're going to be happier, I'm going to be happier, and it's good. So, okay, so click, and good. Double check. Oh, I did have an extra guy there. All right. And so now I can just merge these guys back together. And so by doing it that way, you see how this guy is no longer a border edge, and we are properly seamed all the way around. Now it looks like crap, but that's a different story. Then you have to clean up, make it technically accurate, and make it look good. Because remember, the clients are paying for you to build something that looks good. All right, hope that helps. Have fun.